Hello, Happy New Year. I took a little break there just to catch up on some family time and all that other good stuff. Get really, really fat. It's a new year now, though. I'm back in the gym and I'm back to Warhammer. With that said, let's catch up on a couple of community casts. I haven't pre screened these games. It's what you see is what you get. First game here is coming from Mistress Amber. She's playing the Dwarves, and it's a grudge match against another Dwarf player, someone named Fula17. Not familiar with them, but let's see it anyways. Okay, so it looks like we have a shoot-centric build from Mistress Amber. We've seen something similar to this from her before, and it can be very effective. And on the other hand, more of a balanced lineup from Fula. So which dwarf strategy is going to be better? The shoot-centric dwarf strategy, where you max out on your 12 shoot units. Maybe she even has more than that. Maybe this isn't. Maybe the unit caps are off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, she definitely has more than 12. So I don't even think you can do this anymore. With unit caps, the max number of shooting units you can bring is 12, and she's probably closer to the 15 to 16 range with this. But still, it's going to basically force this other dwarf player to move up, and there's no way he can sit back and continue to shoot with these. Interestingly, these arrows are able to shoot over the rocks with that line of fire. That's kind of cool. And they're connecting with their shots. Over here, this Ungrim Iron Fist is getting absolutely erased. If you're going against dwarfs, you certainly want to bring a couple of Thunderers for that AP. These Quarrelers are shooting as well, but I'm assuming the Thunderers are the ones that are going to have the most impact. And there you go. Yeah, a few of them getting in some good shots there. These ones are going to fall back and kite, and it's going to be just basically a kite and fight type of game. You can see the cannons are almost out of line across the board here. Infantry pushing up, getting pressured out. Runesmith's going to go in here and disrupt some Thunderers. So the individual entities don't seem to have too much problem getting into these units and giving them the business. But obviously any sort of line infantry is going to take a lot more bullet shots and get whittled down much faster. You can see that here with these Quarrelers. Even though they're starting to get into the woods there, one volley took off about 20% of their HP. That was from Quarrelers, which didn't even have AP shots. These Quarrelers are also chipping down this unit here. But yeah, what you can see is Mr. Shammer is basically just trying to set up that shooting pocket, right? Everywhere they push, she's going to just keep backing up and backing up and backing up and just trying to just go as wide as she can to keep that concave firing arc. And she's having success with it. This unit's going to get chipped down, the Longbeards. It looks like they're almost out of gas. Once this unit's, as is this unit, once these two go down, then that's going to put so much more pressure on the remaining units here in that midline. There's not much left. These Quarrelers did get caught up on some Dwarf Warriors, so that's certainly not where they want to be, but Mr. Samber's just doing a good job of pulling them back every time they get in contact and just really frustrating the hell out of the Dwarf player. So I think this highlights to me the problems with the Dwarfs right now. The fact that their shooting is just so strong. And also, I do think that the unit caps for number of missile units needs to be reevaluated, because when you take 12 units that shoot, you can do things like this and have no front line whatsoever. I've seen you can go in the other direction too with other armies, right? I mean, this problem's not exclusive to dwarves. You can bring nothing but large units. I've seen a Skaven player run like nothing but Doom Wheels and Doom Flares and Rat Ogres, and then just a couple units of skirmish, like Poison, what do you call them again? Those skirmish rats, slingers, night runners with slings or whatever, gutter runners with slings. And it's just really hard to deal with that kind of stuff. Looks like the Giant Slayers are going to get into this artillery here and shut that down. This is still a close fight, though. I shouldn't write this off too quickly. I mean, the Giant Slayers are in here on the artillery. There's a couple units that are broken off. This unit of Dwarf Warriors is getting chipped down, but it looks like one unit of Longbeards got left in the back. Maybe to protect the organ guns, but honestly, they should have been pushing with everything else, in my opinion. This unit here is in a box formation. I don't know if that's intentional, but probably they want to go a little bit wider so they get more units in contact when they do make the charge. Ungrim here has cleaned out an artillery crew. Looks like a cannon crew has been maybe routed and remanned. I'm not really sure what happened there, but these Longbeards are gone. The Giant Slayers are going to be tough though, because you have to, if with an all-shoot build, you have to shoot them really to the last model. They are taking some pretty good Overwatch fire here though. Balance bar starting to creep in Amber's favor. The middle is, I mean, there's just so many units that are able to shoot in on these Giant Slayers right now that they're going to get chipped down. The far flank, it looks like, is basically won now by Amber. Granted, there is this unit of Longbeards who can cause some problems, but I think they're a little late to the fight. That's a full HP unit of Longbeards, which could have been commit earlier, and they were just getting a good view. Ungrim's going in here, and he's whacking things, but his impact is limited because he can only whack, 3 or 4 models at a time. He's got to chase them, and Amber just keeps them moving and keeps shooting. So, dwarfs may be slow, but they can draw kite with the best of them because of the amount of missiles that they can bring to the table. And if you just bring a shit ton of missiles, you overload people. What's up, Squiddy? Good to be back, and good to see you here as well. So I think you can kind of see where this one's going. I'm gonna scooch along to the next replay. I'll fast forward a little bit just to make sure I'm not off my rocker here, but we got 3 more replays in the pipe. So thank you, Mr. Samber, for sending that replay. We can tell that it was a success for you. I'm good, Squiddy. I'm good. Thanks for asking. I'm a little sore. My arms are like so painful to extend my arms right now from the gym, but it serves me right for not going there for a long time. All right, so we got a different flavor of game here. This one's from Demogod. He's playing the Beastmen, going up against Lucky Bloom playing the Empire. So we're going to get a little bit of Beastmen action here. So we're seeing a heavy Gore Herd build from Demogod, which is a good choice against the standard Empire build because you tend to see a lot of spears. In fact, most Empire players, according to the current meta, will bring 5 to 6 units of spears. And Gore Herd are actually like a perfect counter to that spear meta. They can, they have decently high melee attack at, 42? So they're going to be able to get through that high melee defense of 47 on the spears. Usually people put 5 chevrons in here, and they say, oh yeah, the spearmen are going to last forever, but you got to be careful and think about the matchup. They will do very well against high spears. They will do very well against other types of infantry. It depends, but against beastmen, they have pretty high melee attack and pretty high speed, so they can close the distance quickly, which means it's hard for the Empire guns to get a lot of value. They can also not take very expensive casualties on the approach. I mean, the Gore Herd are only about 500 gold, so if they get shot, it's not the end of the world. Like, the Beastman player does not need to be stressed about that. I'm going to slow it down for a bit here. If you are the Empire player here, you can't allow the Gore Herd to just charge you in your front line immediately. You've got to find, if you're going to bring shooting, which he did here, he's brought handgunners. If you're going to bring shooting, you need to find a way to interrupt the advance so that you have more opportunity for your guns to fire. So that can mean Boris hitting them with cycle charges. That can mean just regular basic Empire Knights doing that. Pistoliers can do it as well. Over here, it looks like some Outriders were deployed really far away from the rest of the army. They got isolated and caught by some Chaos Warhounds with poison. So that's a very expensive loss. It's 1,400 gold off the table if both of them get hot. This one's 700 gold. This one is also 700 gold, so it's 1,400 gold. And I think once this unit wraps up this one, they're probably going to rotate around it and kill the other one. So we'll see. Over here, there's also some rear pressure coming in from the Centaurs. They're going to hit this Hammer of the Witches, take that offline immediately. There's no backline support cav. A lot of money was spent putting, I guess, these chevrons into these spearmen. Probably that money would have been better spent getting a unit of just regular Empire cav. Over here, Demigryph Knights have been pulled way out to the flank. I'm not sure why they got pulled that far out, but certainly they are not where they should be. I mean, the whole purpose of a Demigryph Knight is to protect your backline. They're a defensive cav. They should be in the back, and they should be able to respond to threats like this. Okay, it looks like there is a unit of Empire Knights, which I did not see earlier, so they are going to react here and do some damage. I will question, however, the choice of the handgunners in this matchup. If you're going against Beastmen, you probably don't need the AP shooting, right? Beastmen are lightly armored almost across the entire board, so you're much better off with archers and crossbowmen and huntsmen, even things like that. Hi, Squiddy. Yeah, my New Year's was great. Thanks for asking. I played some Monopoly with the family, and then I stayed up late and played some games with Tanker. I'm on a bit of a remnant kick right now, but yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to normal speed here. So it looks like Archlector is going to try and secure this backline, but the Hammer of the Witches is just going to get mashed out here. It looks like Demogod is willing to sacrifice this unit of Centaurs in the spheres for the ability to just shut down this Hammer of the Witches and probably take it offline. That will be a cost-effective trade because Hammer of the Witches is about 800 gold, Centaurs are 700, so even if he loses that unit, it's still an upwards trade, taking out the Hammer of the Witches and doing a little damage onto the spears. This unit of Centaurs is running roughshod into the handgunners, and the Empire Knights are just too slow to catch up. Handgunners are having a really hard time firing. Their volley does go off. I'm not sure into what, maybe the Centaurs, but they are going to get mucked up, and they're not really getting some clean shots here. This unit of Centaurs has been wrapped up. They're going to be taken offline. Over in the back, some reinforcing Gore Herd are going to come in here. Chaos Warhounds are going to start chasing that second unit of Outriders, which I was talking about earlier. And now the Demigriffs are coming back here to try and bail out their boys. They're going to get a sweet rear charge into this unit of Gore Herd. Nice stuff there, but not optimal because Demigriff with halberds are meant for fighting large targets, and these are not large targets, so it's not an optimal use of their skill set. You're better off sending the Demis after maybe the Minotaurs, or the Chaos Spawn, or the Centaurs. I mean, the Centaurs would be the optimal target if the Demis could get in on them. Over here, the Archlector is gonna trade some shots with the Chaos Spawn. Chaos Spawn are gonna go down, but it is tying up 2 units of Spearmen plus the Archlector, and that is at the cost of basically nothing because that's a summon from Morgar, right? That's a free summon. Over here, the Chaos Warhounds did catch the Outriders, so that's tough news for the Empire. That's certainly not where the Outriders want to be. So overall, if I had to make suggestions to the Empire player, number 1, cut the handgunners. Number 2, keep your Demis in the back. Number 3, you probably only need 1 unit of Demis. Even regular Empire Cav is probably going to trade okay against Centaurs, or Reichsguard will do the job. Because regular Centaurs don't have AP. If he goes the Centaurs with great weapons, it's going to be probably an even trade. And you'll be able to go a little bit wider. Number 3, you probably don't want to go all in on spears. Grab 1 unit of great swords. Number 4, you want to keep your handgunners and your Outriders and your Pistoliers probably on the flanks. If you deploy them way in the back, you're just going to get mobbed by things like Chaos Warhounds. You don't have the speed to kite them. The only way you can get around that maybe is if you're going to bring Zintler's Reichsguard and some Pistoliers. Then you have an answer to the Chaos Warhounds. If you deploy the Outriders without support, you're just asking to be eaten by Warhounds. So well played to Demogod. I like his loadout versus Empire. I'm not sold on the Minotaurs. I don't know if they're a great choice. Certainly they did well in this matchup. There have also been some changes to the like in recent patches to their cost and maybe stats as well. I'm not entirely sure on that, but anyway, they got buffed a little bit. So maybe with the buff, they're a little bit more viable, and maybe Demogod just wanted to test them out. But look at these Gore Herd. I mean, these were the true MVPs in my opinion. Just mowing down the spears, just putting so much pressure on that front line, opening up opportunities, and the Centaurs were able to get to what they needed to get to, which was the Hammer of the Witches. Likewise, these Chaos Warhounds with poison. Wow, 2 chevrons, 117 kills, absolutely erasing the Outriders. So yeah, very effective use there. Again, Outriders with these are the stand and shoot ones. They're not Pistoliers. They're not the grenade launchers. So you're bringing AP to a battle that doesn't need AP. There was nothing on their roster that had maybe more than 50 armor. Probably the Minotaurs are around 50. Everything else is probably around 30. Best score maybe 80. But it's just, you don't need all that armor pen. Look, Handgunners armor pen, Demigriffs armor pen, Outriders armor pen, Hammer of the Witches armor pen. You're buying so much armor pen that you just don't need in this matchup. You're better off getting other tools. All right, next we got Wholesome, Navari Sybaris and Time Lord versus Ala the Bleached and Boomshada playing as Skaven. There was maybe a little bit of bitterness after this matchup. I'm not sure, but whatevs. All in good fun. Over here we got Ala the Bleached playing some Spearmen with great swords, double demis, triple Hellstorms. I guess he was worried about the Dwarf artillery and he wanted to commit to winning that shootout. Can't see the Skaven loadout or the Clan Angrund loadout just yet. Um, so I guess this is Boomshot playing Skaven. Take a quick look at his roster here. He's got Warlock Giselles, Rattling Guns, and Natty Boobos in the back. So pretty big mid-range shooting line. It's good. It's pretty good against the dwarfs because dwarfs have a lot of problems usually connecting with that. He's got a doom wheel for interrupts. Ica Claw on the doom wheel. Cool stuff there. I'm sort of the mindset that generally it's not a good idea to put your lord on a large mount. You want them to have high melee defense, low hitbox. And so I would, if you want a doom wheel, I would buy an off doom wheel, like a secondary doom wheel, and I put it on either on foot or on the doom flare. I personally really like them on the doom flare because you get the mobility to go where you want to go, and they're just a nuisance to deal with, those doom flares. Anyways, double assassin and Ikit, cool stuff. I don't know if you need the double assassin if you're going to bring Ikit on a doom wheel because he has pretty high maneuverability, and assassins, I think they're best used defensively when protecting footlords, and I don't know if Ikit needs it, but well, maybe Boom knows more than me. I'm not a Skaven main. Over here we got 3 units of great swords with the spear, so at least this player has mixed in some great swords. I think it's a good choice. 3 is probably too many. I also think you don't want to line up in a formation like that. You're asking to get it handed to you. Granted, dwarfs don't have magic or line spells, so if there's a matchup to line up in a line, maybe this is it. So I think Time Lord's playing in the back. He's just got a whole bunch of Slayers. And Navarre is probably playing in the front with the Ogrim, whole bunch of Slayers. So it's Gotrek, Felix, and Ungrim. And here we've got some Ethereal Spookiness and a Rune Lord. So interesting mix. A little spooky, a little not so spooky, but just badass. Over here we've got the Demis deployed in the woods. These are regular Demi Griff Knights. You don't see them often, but I think it's the right choice to bring against the dwarfs. So I think this is a sign of an Empire player who might know what they're doing. I mean, the Triple Hellstorm is not a bad choice against dwarf. Neither is the double Demi. But you still probably want to have something you can screen for them with. No Flagellants, which is interesting. Not many people would bring Flagellants against the dwarfs, but the Flagellants would probably be the best infantry counter to the Slayers. And crossbows, things of that nature would be good too. And I guess this is the sort of a dwarf counter reaction to people massing a whole bunch of armor pen. But with that said, let's hop into the action here. I've rambled enough. Demi's coming in here, doing a dipsy doodle. It looks like an engineer is going to take some shots here. Drakkar Hammerfist, he's got a line of sight. He can snipe the Demis. They're going to fall back. Some shots are going to go in here and just try and start a forest fire. So what's that bear who's always like, don't start forest fires? Anyway, Yosemite Sam? Is it Yosemite Sam? I don't know. Maybe it's not. But yeah, the dwarves are trying to stick to the trees for now. They are taking a few shots, but the trees are their friends here. The woodland dwarves. Excuse me. Excuse me again. Oh man, I'm the worst sneerer. Okay, so I'm guessing the dwarves are just going to rush out there and take things into their own hands soon. I really don't like maps like this where like half of the map is wood and half of it is open, because usually one team wants to fight in the woods and the other team doesn't, and then they often end up staring at each other and rather than engaging. And I like games that are just aggressive from the get-go and continue to be aggressive. There's no like lull periods where you're just waiting things out. But anyway, interesting stuff here. Skaven, instead of holding back there, they've decided to position on the flank, but by doing so they're pushed right up to the edge of the trees, and that's going to limit their line of fire because again they're going to be shooting into the trees. So Time Lord and Navarre being really disciplined here. I guess they're willing to just take some shots. I'm not really sure. Over here, the Empire player is going to be pulling back those Sunmakers, getting them away from the Dwarven infantry, which is absolutely the right choice. So a little bit of shrewd maneuvering there. Maybe Skaven is getting a little bit too tight for his own good now that the Empire is falling back here. Wouldn't surprise me if Time Lord and Navarre ended up just pushing right into Skaven. But we will see. I mean, certainly they don't want to be out of the forest. So here, Skaven has secured the sort of edge of the forest. Empire is giving a little bit of space to the dwarfs to come out into the forest come out from the forest before they reach the Hellstorms. So the Hellstorms are firing in here, but it looks like they're shooting at the wrong targets. They're probably, I think they're shooting at the individual entities. It's hard to tell though with all the trees. I'll fast forward a little bit here. A whole lot of nothing is happening right now. A whole lot of nothing. And I'll fast forward even more. I guess this is the ritualistic part of the battle where you hurl insults to your opponents and try and bait them into the woods and or an unfavorable position, and they do the same for you, trying to bait you out of the woods. But I hate maps like this for this reason. You know, 5 minutes have elapsed, literally nothing has happened, and eventually Skaven, it looks like Boomshot is just getting impatient and is like, well, let's fight, or you know, are we gonna play the game? So he's going in, and he's probably gonna take a beating for it. But we'll see. We will see. No, more dipsy doodling from the doors. They're dodging a lot of the Hellstorm shots. Just with that wide formation, the trees, and keeping them moving. A lot of the shots are just missing. And the Slayers will fight to the death. They don't take that damage to leadership from artillery. Over here, these Slayers are absolutely mulching these Skaven Slayers. Shots are going to come in here, but the Dwarfs are going to just push through and not really care. Balance bar is in favor of Empire and Skaven, but once that infantry gets cleared out, it could get dicey really quick. Another interesting thing is the fight is starting to push away from the Hellstorms. That could be a good thing or a bad thing. It is pulling the Slayers, like I said, away from the Hellstorms, which they want to shut down, but the Hellstorms are using up their ammo. Over here, this is a big mistake, I think. Ikit Claw got stuck down in some Slayers, and if he dies, that's going to be devastating to the leadership of the Skaven. He is wavering, but he pulls out just in the nick of time. So yeah, that's why I think you probably don't want to put your Lord on a big mount there. I mean, maybe against Slayers, it's okay. They're getting chipped down here. But yeah, just a pile-in fight here in the woods, and you got to think that without the rockets coming in here, the Dwarves are going to clean up all of this Skaven infantry. Empire reserves, have they been sent in yet? Looks like they're getting in here. The greatswords are in here. They're going to cause this. They're going to cause the Slayers all kinds of problems. But Giant Slayers do have AP, and they are backed up by their heroes. So there's that. Ikit's going to take another brave charge in here. He will escape this time without taking too much damage. But remember, you got the Rune Lord, Gotrek, Felix, all that stuff. They're going to grind it out. And if the greatswords break off, then it's going to be real tough. It's going to be real tough for Empire. We will see. Balspar dead even. It's still a close fight. Could go either way. A lot of the Slayers have been chipped down. Actually, it looks like the infantry fight, well, I got to slow down here. A lot going on. So, Spearmen breaking off. Skaven Slaves breaking off. I guess the Terror is coming into effect here from the Helkenhof Stonebeard. If we look, this is wavering, routing. It doesn't say Terror specifically, but yeah. How about we look at the Slayers? They're down to about 10 models apiece. But the Lords are at full health, you know, like the Stonebeard, Hammer Fist, Rune Lord, Ungrim, Felix. I mean, they, unless you can snipe them, they're going to kill everything. Ikki can't cycle charge them. He's very low on HP. The Demis could, but they're not going to be effective in the woods, and they're going kind of in the wrong direction right now. Ikit's trying to free up some space for his Rattling guns. He's got his shots still. He's got shots, right? This General of the Empire, Marcus Wolfhart. I don't know why you bring Wolfhart against Dwarf. I mean, you could maybe snipe their cannons, but maybe snipe their heroes. I don't know. But I think the best choice against Dwarf is probably Volkmar, because Volkmar can shrug missile shots like crazy. He can deal well with infantry. He's got self-heals. I mean, Volkmar, to me, seems like the de facto choice against Dwarf. Shots are still going in here. Bounce bar dead even. I'm going to keep fast-forwarding because this is kind of a long match. More shots coming in here, but the Dwarfs are... They're small targets, and they're in the woods, and they're moving, and they're just not taking that much damage. Look at these shots. I think there was some magic hold on, let's slow down here. Usually these Giselles are really effective, but they have gotten a few nerfs, so I might need to reassess that. Uh, so no, none of these Giselles have magic damage? That's a bit surprising to me. So they have AP, but not magic damage. So even those purple shots, which you might think are magic damage, are not. And yeah, he's surviving. Drakenhar Hammerfist. More shots coming in. More shots coming in. Shot for you. Shot for you. Everyone gets a shot. So the final Brave Slayer Warriors are just lined up here with their downright foolhardy lords, who happen to also be unkillable. So maybe not that foolhardy after all. Marcus Wolfhart's almost out of ammo. Balance bar is now in favor of the doors, simply because the heroes are just so strong. I think there's been a trend lately to make stronger and stronger heroes, and it's become a little bit of hero hammer. Um, I would like maybe a little bit of I don't know, softening of the strengths of heroes across the board, but it is what makes Warhammer fun and unique. So I can see both sides of that argument. So Mark is getting some absolutely great shots here in Drakenhall Hammerfist. He doesn't have magic damage either, but he just has a lot of damage. So damage is damage, and it looks like he was able to connect. I think the Dwarf Lord, probably could have hid behind the what is it called, the tree, but instead it looks like he's elected to shoot back at Wolfhart, which maybe it's not the end of the world because this guy can get heals still from Felix. So again, there's that sort of like staring competition where dwarves don't want to go out in the open, and these guys do. Gotrek gets pinned here from Marcus, and he's going to take a lot of shots. That's a pretty nice pin from Marcus. But there is some armor support here, and he'll be okay. Gotrek is pretty hardy. It's a bit surprising that these 3 units of Giselles weren't able to chip him down a bit faster, or the Rattling guns, considering that there was nothing else there. But again, he's a small target. He probably has some missile resistance. Let's see, 60 armor. Let's check out his missile resist quickly. I'm sure he has some sort of sneaky missile resistance stuff. Magic resist, missile resist. So 35% missile resistance. So he's nerfing a lot of that. He's getting a speed reduction and a shield breaker, but he doesn't have a shield anyways. Oh, he's getting missile resistance from the Master Rune of Grungy. So 50% missile resistance, 35 plus 20. No, so 55% missile resistance. So it's really hard to snipe this guy, right? So maybe that's why Boomshotter brought the assassins after all, was to deal with things like this. By the way, I don't know what happened to those assassins. They just probably got murdered in the woods. I don't see them. So certainly they would have been useful late game. Marcus Wolfhart's going to get absolutely clowned by these heroes. That is not where he wants to be caught. So he's down. That's going to shift the balance bar fairly decisively, because now the Empire is going to start wavering. Granted, you did get some nice charges in here with the demis into the Giselles, although it looks like they're moving really slowly. There's something weird with their pathing. Like, that doesn't seem like a full charge to me. I don't know what happened there. And it looks like they're charging into the back line instead of... Oh yeah, sorry. I'm full of crap. So the demis were not charging the Giselles. They were charging the Slayers because the Giselles are on the demis team, and I need to have a coffee. I'm sorry about that. Over here. Slaves are running away. More rockets coming in. I think we can see which way this battle is headed, so I'm going to start fast forwarding now, but it was a close fight. Certainly not a blowout by any means, but I think it was a terrible map. And I would recommend never to play Bloodpine Woods again. Unless nobody has shooting, or everyone has... yeah, just if no one has shooting. GG's. Shogun was the first Total War game that I ever played. Okay, so next we got a match called Darth's Advice. So this is featuring Navarre. I guess he got some advice from Darth, aka Nameless King, on a build, and so he's trying it out, going up against Uri and No Name Greenskins player. So yeah, I like the history behind it. Like it got me into medieval Japan back in the day. I like the color of the units. I love the assassin cutscene videos. That was my favorite part of the game. The geisha and the assassin videos were fantastic, and I kind of wish they had stuff like that here. Actually, in Warhammer, they just have like they kind of went a bit cheaper on it for event videos. Well, for events, they just put like a little note card in the top right hand corner, but in those old games, like in Shogun, they used to have like a dedicated like cinematic every time an event was going on, and I kind of miss that. I would like to see more of that. Granted, for Warhammer 2, we get those beautiful opening cinematics, and for each DLC release, it's paired with the cinematic, and I love those cinematics too. So maybe you can't have it all, but certainly it looks like CA has decided to dedicate their resources to that. So we have 4 Hellstorms, uh, which is absolutely an obscene amount of Hellstorms, and they're trying to bring a shoot army with a WOG, which is a very strange combination, but that's what they're doing. Navarre is getting uh, smashed here, I think, by the artillery, but he's holding tough with the Dwarf Warriors against the Savage Brigands. I don't know what he's. I think he's just trying to figure out what to do here. I don't know. But the Rune Lord's in here. He's buffing all damage resist against all these Savage Orcs. And that damage resist is just keeping these deckhand mobs and other things online. So the WOG has dropped, and it doesn't look like any significant damage has been done. The deckhand mob had like 60 armor, so they were shrugging a lot of the damage from those Savage Orcs, who don't really have very high AP. And here the Savage Orcs are cutting through the deckhand mob. I mean, Savage Orcs not a terrible choice against zombies because they can cut through chaff pretty quickly, and it looks like this orc player knows that and has gone all in on it. But they also suffer from really bad leadership. And if there are terror-causing units nearby and they've taken a little bit of damage, these guys are not going to stick around and fight. Certainly not without any sort of leadership support. I don't see the greenskin leadership. Like, where are their lords here? They need to be buffing the leadership of these savage orcs. Otherwise, they're just going to get spooked and run away. Over here, some scurvy dogs have gotten into the back line, so some nice play there by Nameless King. And the dwarfs, I don't know, the dwarfs are just doing what dwarfs do. They're just buffering a lot of the Vamp Coast shooting. Greenskins are fully depleted now. Hellstorms are low on ammo. No, they're still up, but it looks like a couple of them have been taken offline. This Empire player is completely balled up everything, but he still has his Hellstorms, and most people are happy as long as they have their Hellstorms. And even if they lose their Hellstorms, they're happy that they got to bring their Hellstorms because it has the word hell in it. And yeah. So Mongol's coming over here. He's going to spook all the Empire troops. I literally have no idea where the greenskin leadership is. I'm sorry if I missed that, but these Savage Orcs just are not going to want to fight any of this undead stuff. It's too scary for them. Like, that's what I mean. There's different philosophies here. Against undead, you can bring Savage Orcs and be like, oh yeah, I'm going to clear chaff really quick. Or you can go with like Black Orcs, which have like immune to psychology, heavy armor. They move slow, but they're also going to clear everything out. I'm more in favor of the Black Orc style. And then if you need to suppress missiles and stuff, then just use your spider hatchling summons and things like that to suppress the missiles. You don't need to race through their front lines. You just need to pressure their front lines and suppress their shooting while you're pressuring it out. And keep your boys fighting. That's number one. If they're not fighting, they're not killing things. So there you go. Mongol Hunter, yeah, I don't know. Dwarves just did what dwarves do, took no damage with their heroes, had some armor, shrugged some stuff, and yeah, cool stuff out of Nameless King. The Mongol Hunters certainly paid their dues. Running Leviathan scared everything away. Uri, I think, was a bit of a new player. I don't know what he was trying to do here. His skirmish cav did absolutely nothing. I didn't notice them. Maybe I'm just not a good caster. And over here, Grimgor. Oh, so he had Grimgor. Probably he sent Grimgor into the middle of that blob at the start, and then Ongrim just put him in a dunk tank. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. So once he died, then there was no leadership left for anything else. So cool stuff. Thanks for everyone who sent me a replay. I'm gonna probably be a little more active maybe today, tomorrow, and then I'm gonna be off traveling to Cuba and then headed to the office to work for a week. So I'll be a little spotty over the next little while, but maybe towards the end of January I'll have a bit more time again. Thanks for watching and take care. Bye.